Hi everyone. I'm back, and this is a short lesson about the Day of Judgment in Islam and what we've been talking about in class. Many of you have heard the hadith about the sun being very close to the earth on the Day of Judgment, and many people, when they look at that in the tafsir or the it wouldn't be tafsir because it's hadith, but the scholars say that maybe the Earth will change its orbit and become closer to the sun. And while that is very possible, it is also possible that the Earth will stay in its orbit exactly like it has been. Even if nothing changes, the Earth stays in its orbit, the sun will eventually expand into a red giant. Because this is what happens when stars run out of hydrogen. And when it does that, how big will the sun become? It will come either just before the Earth or actually out past the Earth. So it is impossible for our star, our sun, to not someday be just miles above the Earth. And so, some people say, okay, but Miss Lisa, this is going to happen in 6 billion years. It's very unlikely that the Day of Judgment will occur in 6 billion years. It's probably going to happen before that. Well, that's very true. But, there are two trumpets which are blown, right? The first one, takes the souls. Don't quote me on my Islam. But and then the second one, they're resurrected. And we don't know how many years are between the first and the second trumpet. So for instance, the first trumpet could be in the years to come, but then there's no one for that time between the two trumpets. When the sun has expanded, at that time, the second trumpet will be blown, everyone will be resurrected, and the Day of Judgment will begin. So we don't know. There also in the Quran, there is an ayah about the sun and the moon becoming joined on the Day of Judgment. That also confirms this theory. This is an ayah, so the tafsir says that likely the Day of Judgment will happen on an eclipse. That is the interpretation of that ayah, that the sun and the moon being joined. However, if the sun expands to a red giant, it will most likely engulf the moon. So that could be another interpretation of that ayah. Allahu alam. But I always like to share these things with you just so you have more knowledge and you're able to make connections between science and our religion.